the time, cause I wanna freeze this moment, make it mine, hold you close, now my heart's wide open, when I'm with you suddenly I feel no pain, do you make it go away, do you make it close, now my heart's wide open, when I'm with you suddenly I feel no pain, do you make it go away, do you make it
opportunistic, still rubbing panels as they go together. It's folded the wing mirror in on Gerardo's car.
Misano is such a difficult circuit for these guys to get right. There's a lot of start-stop sections around the back. It's a very, very quick section as well.
It's a fantastic start from the 23. They're 4 wide there by the look of it.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening and welcome to Chaz Draycott Media and welcome to round 4 of the NEVO British Formula 4 series. We're here at Circuit Park Zandvoort, known these days actually as just Circuit Zandvoort, but we are over the North Sea and into the Netherlands for the Championship's only overseas visit this season. And it's going to be quite the interesting venue, I think, for some amazing racing. Zandvoort is not a personal favourite of mine, I will get that straight out of the way. But it is certainly an exciting circuit for the drivers. It's a very Marmite place for a lot of people, but we always get good racing here. My name is Chaz Draycott, and I'm delighted once again to be joined by Edward May in the commentary box. Ed, we've had a good old chat before this one about what may happen and what might not, but for the people at home, what do you think is going to be the main talking point this evening around Zandvoort?
I think it's got to be Kane Halliburton. Can he get a grand slam of victories? We've seen it time and time again. He can get 2 victories over the line, but that last one just seems to slip away from him. Here at Zandvoort, it's a circuit that's quite difficult to overtake. So if he can get a good qualifying result, the first 2 races will definitely be in his favour. By the second race, or not the second race, but the feature race rather, that is a slightly different format, if I remember rightly, Chaz, because it's going to be reverse grid from the sprint races, due to issues that we've had previously and a bit of a rejigging of the format to allow the reverse grids to actually take shape and take form, which is what we've been hoping for all season long. Yeah,
that's it. I mean, there has always been a sort of a bit of a mixed up format in this championship. I don't want, not mixed up in a wrong way, but yeah, it's an interesting format indeed because of the different amount of races that we get over the course of the evening. You can see that practice is going on right now with just about 7 minutes left to go, so it's about time that we have a look at some championship standings. Makes me very happy to see Spontex CDM Esports at the top of the championship, but of course it is all the work of Kane Halliburton on 117 points. He is very far clear of Jean-Sébastien Larose with 75 points to his name, then Håkon Grebstad and Hans Polmans. Only 1 point between those two for 3rd and 4th, and they've only got 3 points over John Tusting for Boosted Motorsport in 5th. Dennis Gallo next up, only 2 points clear of Fraser Smith, but then look at that, 45, 45, 43, 42, 40. Then a tie between Wayne Palmer and Kane Ledger for 34 points. It's just amazing. The list goes on, but the championship is very close once you get past Kane Halliburton. Flemish Simsports by Viraco lead the team's championship by just 5 points from Boosted Motorsport. Ignium Motorsport are 3rd at the moment on 95 points, and then Straight Line Racing False Group Esports on 83. There's plenty to fight for though, Ed, isn't there, in this championship? Of course, we don't have sort of different classes or anything like that, but it's just all very jam-packed with all of these drivers, and the format keeps it nice and tight.
Yeah, it really does. We do, of course, have drop rounds, so we've already seen certain drivers take theirs earlier on in the season. Håkon Grebstad, who missed out on the second round, has taken that as his drop, so can't afford any mistakes. And if he carries on a good turn of form, which he has been doing, is certainly one to watch. But as me and you like to do, Chaz, we sort of make notes after all of the races, all the broadcasts we do. After all the action at Zandvoort, I'm getting my tracks confused, at Donington Park, as we see Jesper Sandström for a little bit of a off-road moment, I wrote just at the bottom, Jesper Sandström, wow, because that's all you could do to sum up his performance. He was absolutely amazing, wasn't he? His debut for the season, and he put out a nigh-on faultless performance.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic to watch, was Jesper Sandström. The Swede was amazing fun all the way through. Of course, Kane Halliburton ended the meeting a little bit frustrated after having an incident and, of course, having contact with this man, Håkon Grebstad, in the number 37 machine. It's a shame that it happened, but at the end of the day, it was a very, very exciting race meeting, and to see a driver like Jesper come through the order and really prove himself so early on in his time in the championship was just great. Really, really great, and it's exactly what we needed. Now, as Jakob has mentioned in the YouTube chat, good to see you all in the chat, by the way. Do let us know your thoughts, send your comments in, and give us your opinions on whatever's going on, who you think might win, and what you think of the series, what you think of my horrendous voice, and so on. Now, Jakob has mentioned that we've got a 10-minute qualifying session ahead of the 2 sprints, and then the 30-minute feature will be the full championship grid reversed. So Quali will sort the heats out which makes it a little bit of a different situation. But I think that's the best way around to have it, really, because having the reverse grid for the longer race at the end, yes, it gives drivers a bit longer to get through the order, but I think that makes it a little bit more fair in that regard, don't you?
Yeah, it really does. And you can actually just notice a few different things here, Chaz. Look at the rear wing of Wayne Palmer. Absolutely nothing on it. Look, you can see there running a very low downforce trim, which is one of the great things you can notice in iRacing, is that it actually models their setup. You can see there, compared to a lot of the other drivers, I don't think he's put really any rear wing on. In fact, actually, Jesper Sandström is running less wing. Just see the angle of Jesper.
Yeah.
Wow. Drivers really opting for low downforce setups here on the circuit, I thought. Sorry to get sidetracked from your initial point there, Chaz, but a circuit I thought we'd see drivers running a little bit higher rear wing.
I think it's the same for everybody, you know. I just think it's the different colours that make it look different. Now, if I'm honest with you, they all look the same to me. But you are right, though.
Right.
You do get now, they do render the setup, which is great. You know, it started in the Formula Renault 3.5. That was the first car where you could really see the big difference between high, medium and low downforce rear wings. But now we're getting it across pretty much every Formula car, and this is the thing with iRacing now. It's getting better and better at rendering certain details across different cars, you know, from one person to the next. We started with static dashboards a long time ago. If you ever went on board with somebody else like this and you see the dashboard on the steering wheel, it would always say that the car was in reverse and doing 0 everything. We still get 0 on the things like the tyre temperatures and maybe the traction control, ABS, things like that. But the revs, the gears, usually the lap times as well, you get that information transferred to you now. It's wonderful to see, and it just adds a little bit more realism to it all, doesn't it? Because there always has been, and this is across every sim, there always has been the odd detail that sort of shows you that it's not real, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and one thing I love as well is even when you're not on board with the cars, it still renders the driver's arm movements. So you can see Philip Russell here when he comes through. You can just see little movements there on the steering wheel. You can see that left hand just coming up above the edge of the cockpit here. He turns in. You can actually see little movements there. And we actually saw it, didn't we, at Donington Park, a driver who really lost the rear end. I think it might have been Jesper Sandström fighting to control it while on board with another car. You could actually see the other driver fighting to keep control. Oh dear. Philip Russell loses control there, but just about keeps it out of the wall. Just in time for John Barnes to swoop on through. Looking at the times in practice, though, it seems to be going Kane Halliburton's way, looking like a favourite for pole position. Oh dear, as heavy hit into the wall from Håkan Gebser right at the end of practice. But Wayne Palmer's been performing brilliantly just so far. Let's have a look just at the replay. And he's over the grass and then bam! Off the gravel onto the grass. Huge moment there into the Armco, and that could be something to worry about in the race when drivers are pushing out a little bit too hard.
It's so easy to do that, honestly. So easy. And there, look, another driver doing it. Oh no, Kimber Hates off, and Jean-Sébastien Larose is now off as well. Manages to keep it out the wall, but it was almost the same situation for him there, to be honest with you.
That's going to be a huge worry as well, because you want to push so hard through that final corner to get a good run down the straight, and if you just tap a couple of wheels onto that gravel, it drags you out, and all of a sudden you can't find your way back onto the circuit. You hit that huge mound of turf as the gravel ends, and then you're sent skywards and into the wall. That's going to be a huge concern for the drivers here.
Yeah, it is. It really is. You have to push so hard throughout a lap around this place. We've got a wonderful view down here at the start-finish straight as Barney dusts off the checkered flag. Everybody disappears, and then qualifying will start our broadcast, which is great to see. I love a qualifying session, especially when we have it straight at the start of proceedings. Now here is your championship leader, driver for Spontex CDM Esports, Kane Halliburton. Kane, I'm very grateful for him running the colours, which I'm currently running. It's got the NEVO branding all over it as well, because NEVO and Chaz Draycott Media have a wonderful partnership at the minute with broadcasting and all sorts of wonderful little details. But Kane is looking to just get a good lap on the board and then have an easy session from there. But to be honest, Ed, it's kind of a long lap round here in these cars, so to only have 10 minutes, that's not long at all, is it?
No, it isn't, but I love those sorts of qualifiers, actually. It's a proper sprint, isn't it? Drivers, no room for errors, oh dear.
There is an error.
Well, there's an error exactly there from the driver on home turf, Raymond Wolpert. The Dutchman not quite off to a flying start just yet. But he's got his co-compatriot, Justin Gerritsen, also teammate. They're down as privateers. We need to try and get to the bottom of if they have a team name or not, because they are partnered up together, running with the same Red Bull-inspired livery.
I think they do have a team, actually. I think they're down as... Oh, yeah, apologies. I was supposed to update this. But I'm no good at my job.
I was trying to cover for you, Chaz. I was trying to say we could get it sorted for next time, but you've just peeled back the curtain.
Oh, yeah, I'll put my hands up and admit I've made a mistake. The overlay will reset a couple of times while I just sort this out, everybody, so please do bear with it. They're down as Go Gadget Racing. Not sure on the licensing for delivery, but they are down as Go Gadget Racing. Happy to make a livery for you boys if you want, but that will be now updated. Justin Gerritsen and his teammate, of course, Raymond Wolpert, both on home soil, as Ed has rightly pointed out. So Kane Halliburton goes onto a lap then. Let's go on board with him and see exactly how this looks, shall we? Because I want to see just how hard he's pushing around here, Ed. There's a lot of commitment required here, isn't there?
Yeah, no room for error, no room for backing out here. Tyre's not quite up to temperature yet as he makes his way down through this right-hander that you need to be so tight to the inside for. Then pick your moment to really stamp on the loud pedal. Swing it through there, careful of the bump on the inside. Kane just about avoids it. Then here you can either swing in for the early apex and try and carry the speed out of it, and then get sorted for the next left-hander, which he does, gets right the way over to the right-hand side of the track, fighting the rear end that tries to step out at you every single opportunity through that long, demanding left-hander, and he's so close on the exit of the corner there to not get an off-track. Then here, so technical, carry the speed into it, then slow it down all the way through into this left-hander, carry the speed out of the corner, use all of that runoff area, just a tap of the grass on the exit, and then final corner, so tricky to get right. Use the downforce, have faith in the car, just judges it perfectly on the exit, and then flat out all the way through the subsequent right-hander, all the way up to the line for the first benchmark time. Not looking too great from Kane at the moment though, because you can see Jesper Sandstrom in behind, purple sectors pretty much all the way, but Kane goes fastest with 36.236. Where are we going to see Jesper Sandstrom come through? He goes 2.5 tenths faster than Håkon Grebstad and Kane Halliburton. Håkon now up into second place. That's a very good effort from him. Kane needs to find a little bit more time if he wants to try and secure pole position. He was quickest in practice, but at the moment, it's looking like Jesper Sandstrom's night if qualifying is anything to be believed.
Yeah, Jesper doing a fantastic first lap there, and thank you for the description of the lap as well, Ed. This is the part that I hate the most, to be honest. This is Masters Bocht so into what's called Bocht 9. Bocht, of course, meaning just turn. Wayne Palmer, 2 purple sectors, by the way. That puts him second fastest, ahead of Grebstad and Halliburton. This is Bocht 10, down towards Hans Ernst Bocht. But honestly, 8, 9 and 10, there's so many different lines that you can take through that part of the circuit. It is a pain to go through there. Car 69, Nathan Whiteley, part of Straight Line Racing False Group Esports. He's just got a time on the board, goes into 11th position. Raymond Wolpert has just got inside the top 10 with his first time. Got a couple of drivers that haven't put times on the board yet. Austin Foster has crossed the line, but it was, just enough for 13th place, a 1:38.1. Not enough from him, but look at this, purple sectors all over the place for Jesper Sandstrom.
He is absolutely setting the timing screens alight. This could be the lap of all laps here in qualifying. Tyres just about coming into their own now, so this is going to be Jesper Sandstrom's best attempt. Kane Halliburton goes fastest, but you can bet your bottom dollar that Jesper Sandstrom is going to blast that well out of the way. And he was actually slower through that last sector, but it was still enough, all of the efforts done earlier on in the lap, to go a 10th quicker. Half a second faster as well than Wayne Palmer, who's up into third place. That's a very good effort from him. Håkon Grebstad, not quite up to the pace I think we were expecting to see from him, but plenty of time left to go in this qualifying session. Maybe he's backing off a little bit, trying to recycle the heat through the tyres, because that's a very key important thing to focus on in iRacing, is the way the tyres warm up and the heating of the tyres is so crucial. You can do one good push lap then back off for a second lap, get that heat back down the tyres, make sure you're not scrubbing away the grip too much, and then really go for it a second time. And it's the reason why we see so many of these weird little quirks in iRacing with Grass Cutting Simulator 2022 at Spa just this year, and there's no front wing at all. I don't think anyone has actually told him there, as we see Hans Polman's all of a sudden find he has no front end grip, loads of rear end grip, and the car, as it would often tend to do, swaps ends. So dear, swapping ends yet again. Jakub Szymanski not enjoying himself whatsoever. I think he was already saying that he wasn't enjoying Zandvoort, and somehow I think he's going to find a way to enjoy it even less.
Yeah, that's not ideal from Jakub. He's not very well at the moment, though. He's got a really poorly leg, actually, so I imagine into a braking zone. That's probably a bit of a nightmare. Across the line goes Jesper Sandström. That's looking pretty quick, to be honest. It's a 1:35.601. Really good time. 3 more purple sectors. Håkon Grebstad moves up to 3rd place. Kimber Haight currently 6th. He crosses the line. Where does he move up to? He does not improve. Next up across the line is going to be Matt Alexander. Matt's brought a lot of great people to the championship, actually, to watch. He's got a lot of people on his street that are watching his racing. So hello to all of Matt's fans and his fellow neighbours and people from the area. It's great to have you with us. Brian Loynes here on our screens, making his way across the line. And he moves up into 5th position. Fantastic stuff by Brian. I've told him to sort his numbers out. Same with Mr. Philip Russell as well. So just outside the top 10 at the moment, we have Justin Gerritsen. Whoa, hello. Oh, 2 cars around. That was Brian Loynes having a moment. Justin Gerritsen got very sideways as well through the left-hander there at Hugenholtzbocht. Love this section, though. Just over the crest of the hill here. That is very, very pokey through there. And even in these Formula 4 cars, you know, they're not the fastest things in the world, but they really do look proddy over there, don't they?
They are. I mean, in any car, it's so difficult through all of these corners, to be fair. It feels like the rear end wants to break away from you at any possible moment. So you can be tempted almost to chuck a bit more rear wing on, but you do lose a lot of time around here, especially through the final corner and all the way down into Tarzanbach, the main overtaking point. And here, actually, Chaz, I think you were saying that this isn't your favourite circuit. It's not mine, but for some reason, even though I don't like it, I seem to have decent performances here. Not sure what it is. Obviously, you can definitely remember the Sim Racing magazine round.
Yes.
Where I was saying all the way along that I hate this track. I'm not going to be good here. It's going to be awful. And then I go on and win the thing. So
Pulled
I did look like a bit of a prized idiot there. And as well, actually, in the Sim Racers World Formula 3 season, where I decided to rock up for a few rounds in the
Mystery Machine.
F3's Mystery Machine, and had what I felt was a neat to be proud of, getting a podium in my class, and I think a race victory in the sprint in one of my classes as well. So I'm not sure what it is about this circuit. I think it does tend to favour the driving style of slower into the corners and fast out, because you need to really look after the car around here. If you push too hard, that's when you can find the rear end starts to break away from you. You lose a little bit more time. So it suits a steady hand, and I think we're seeing that right now from Jesper Sandström, judging by his performance thus far in qualifying. Nearly 2/10 quicker than Kane Halliburton, and Kane doesn't seem to have any reply. You can see that. Look, that's a 37. There's no chance for him. So maybe that was a slower lap, and he's going to have one final stab at pole position. I don't know, Chaz. It's looking very, very strong right now for Jesper.
Is indeed. Just under 2/10, and that's it, because it's heat racing. That is it. So that is session over. So they don't get chance to complete their laps. So Jesper Sandström takes pole position. That's fantastic stuff by the Swede. Just under 2/10 of a second clear of Kane Halliburton. Very well done indeed. Next up, we have Wayne Palmer in 3rd position, then Håkon Grebstad in 4th. Philip Russell will line up 5th alongside Brian Loynes in 6th. Then it's Hans Polmans and Kimber Haight, the 2 Flemish cars on row 4. They're ahead of Jean-Sébastien Larose and John Barnes. Watch out for the number 22 car coming through, actually. I think he's going to improve from there. Same with Dennis Gallo in car number 9. He's starting 11th. Then it's John Tusting currently in 12th place. Then we have Justin Gerritsen and Nathan Whiteley on row 7, ahead of Raymond Walpott and David Fuller. Matt Alexander and Austin Foster make it a Crockett Club Motorsport in the 9th row, and Jakub Szymanski will line up at the back of the grid for Alcantech NHR. So you can hear the beautiful Porsche pace car just idling over there at the end of the pit lane. Now there are your front row drivers. It almost reminds me of the old shots you used to see of Hakkinen and Schumacher at Suzuka in the late 90s when they used to look across at both cars. Very quickly though, Ed, is there anybody you've got your eye on for this, mate? Because I think this could go to either one of these gentlemen at the front.
Kane is going to be hungry for this. He's been on pole position. I think every time he's had the ability to qualify on pole, he's done it, and this is the first time he's been beaten this season. So he might have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder here, Chaz. I think he's going to really try and send it in these first few laps.
We'll have to keep our eye out then and see exactly how they do. The lights are about to come on, and the first race of the night is about to get underway as I scramble for a good camera angle. Jesper Sandstrom's going to try and find the gear in the fourth round of the NEVO British F4 Series gets underway. It's a great launch initially by Jesper Sandstrom. Straight into the slipstream goes Kane Halliburton. Tries to tuck in behind him. He's going to follow him all the way down towards turn 1. Brakes as late as he dares. Let's keep our eye on the background and see if there's any shenanigans in here. Oh, there's a bit of contact behind. Raymond Walpott backwards on home soil. That's a nightmare for him. I think there was contact with potentially Austin Foster. Austin had a really good start. Gained 3 places already. Apologies if it wasn't Austin, but I think it might have been. We've got a big gaggle of them here. 2 by 2. Dennis Gallo in the middle of this. He's got Nathan Whiteley to his left-hand side. He's got John Tusting right behind him as they make their way up over the crest of the hill down towards Shivlak for the first time. It's looking very, very good and very tidy for at least 99% of the field, Ed.
Yeah, around about 99% of the field. As the 99 of John Tusting was going side by side with Austin Foster for a moment there, and it's just slopped in ahead. There's a little bit of bumping and budging in behind us. You can hear the wonderful sound of carbon fibre crunching away as cars make a little bit of contact with one another. And look at that big moment there for Jesper Sandstrom, who just about holds onto it, but now the door has been opened wide for Kane, who's going to look around the outside, hope to get the inside for this chicane section, but thinks very smartly and backs out of it for now, but piling the pressure on Jesper Sandstrom. He's letting him know that it's not going to be an easy time of things in this first sprint race of the evening. As Justin Gerritsen under considerable pressure from Nathan Whiteley, just fends him off into the last corner, and now John Tusting, after fending off Austin Foster, is now going to try and focus on Dennis Gallo. Dennis Gallo, who is probably looking for a little bit of redemption, had a great time out in the second round at, oh my word, actually hang on a minute, there is a big move all the way around the outside. Has he done it? Yes, he has. That's a stunning move from Kane Halliburton. The camber working brilliantly to aid his attempt all the way around the outside, and we're going to have another good look at this. Does he force him tight to the inside and sweeps all the way around the outside? Does just about that, and then as soon as he gets the braking zone, moves all the way to the outside to open out the corner. Gives just enough space to Jesper on the inside, but not enough to get a good run out of the corner. And Kane is now into the lead of the race. Hans Bowman's there battling it out with Philip Russell, who's definitely a driver in form, is Philip, after the performances we saw from him at Donington Park, where he got his best results of the season. Here at Zandvoort, struggling a little bit now in this opening lap as Hans, can he go around the outside and then get the inside? I think he's got it just about nailed, but all the way around the outside. It's going to get a good exit here, but they're still side by side. Chaz, this is an amazing tussle.
It is indeed, as they head down towards the Hans Ernst box. Let's see how they sort this one out then. He's on the outside for the first part of the chicane, but if he can hold it, he's going to be on the inside for the second part. It's basically a chicane made up of a hairpin and a right-hander. Very close together. Kimber Hates lost a place behind them to Jean-Sebastien Larose. I told you to watch out for that 22 car. He's hungry to come back through the order as quickly as possible. Kimber Hate, though, closes right back in behind him now as he has to wait and wait and wait as they all bunch up as they come through the Kumo box right near the end of the lap. This is the view on board as Jean-Sebastien Larose.
Yeah, Jean-Sebastien looking all the way around the outside into Tarzan. Oh my word, a huge scrap there. As I thought for just a second we were going to see Flemish Sim Sports is Kimber Hayet slam into the rear end of Philip Russell.
Oh.
But, oh my word, and that was very close, wasn't it? Philip Russell's
I think there was
rear
a touch.
tyre almost coming across, and I think they might have been right there, Chaz. There might have been a touch of contact to that front right end plate of Jean-Sébastien Larose's front wing. Thankfully, no damage or moment for either of those two cars. And look who's in the bound seats for all of this. John Barnes, he's, oh my word, got a great view of this. And this is
ropey.
I'm lost for words. This is very ropey indeed. The circuit's already ropey as it is, trying to out by yourself with so many other drivers breathing down your neck. Oh, I would not want to be in Jean-Sébastien Larose's shoes right now, because not only is he trying to overtake a car, but he's struggling to fight back the assault from Kimber Hayet.
Great racing, absolutely great racing all through the pack. At the front, though, it remains to be Kane Halliburton after that wonderful move to take the lead. The Spontex CDM Esports car leads the way. Jesper Sandström second for Alcantech NHR. Then we have the Ignium machine of Håkon Grebstad. And he's trying to stick with these guys. He's been really quick so far this season as Håkon. He's a really, really top guy. 3 nationalities in the top 3. 2 of them Nordic. Oh, well, sorry, Scandinavian, apologies. As Jesper Sandström throws it back down the inside. Kane gives him loads of room around the outside, but he says, look, I've got the momentum here, Sunshine. I'm going to stick with this, and I'm going to hold this position, because even before we get to this next right-hander, we've got another left kink where I can just slot my car in front. Same for these guys as well. Jean-Sébastien Larose, I wondered where Philip Russell had gone then. I thought he'd just gone straight on, but no, manages to keep it on the road. But this battle's calmed down a little bit, and to be honest, the guy that's going to be the happiest about that is Hans Polmans, as there's been a big accident near the back of the field. Austin Foster and David Fuller involved. Austin's taken his front wing off on the curb. Now, admittedly, no disrespect to Austin Foster, we've seen him involved in quite a lot so far this season. It's just a simple spin, and then, you've got to feel for David there.
That is probably one of the slowest moments I've seen a car roll over before. Just hooks that left rear wheel onto Austin Foster's car, and I don't think Austin Foster realised he had no front wing there and immediately lost it at the next corner. It carries so much speed in, and then snaps once, snaps twice, and into the gravel. And I think at that point he realises, yep, something's definitely wrong, and does the smart thing, pulls the car into the pits.
Oh, it's a painful moment, unfortunately, for Austin. He is now out of the race. And Hansi, he's actually got a bit of a gap here over Philip Russell and Jean-Sébastien Larose. He's going to be quite happy with that, actually, to be honest with you, because these guys are fighting so hard behind. Jean-Sébastien goes to the right. I thought he was surely going to go left there. But this is very feisty stuff. This is what we want to see between these guys. Both of them have had a little bit of a blink in and out over the last lap or so. And Philip tries to get the cutback, goes down the inside. Justin Gerritsen's gone off in the background. We'll look at that in just a moment, because Jean-Sébastien Larose goes through and gains the place from Philip Russell. Right behind them, Kimber Hayet waiting to pounce as well.
We've also, Chaz, just seen we've had a change position for second place. Håkon Grebstad is now up ahead of Jesper Sandström.
He is indeed. Let's have a look at how all this has gone on then. So, this is Justin Gerritsen going off the road. He's side by side with the 69 car. Oh, he just clips the grass on the brakes. Hits the side of Nathan Whiteley, and he just about gets away with it, I'd say. This is how Håkon Grebstad got past Jesper Sandström. It's just going to be a nice, simple move down the inside into turn 1. And again, great respect by these guys at the front. You know, Jesper's giving him all the room in the world there. But that battle is not going to help them stick with Kane Halliburton. He's now 3/4 of a second up the road. And it only looks like that gap is going to get bigger.
It really does look that way for the moment. Oh my word, it certainly is now, as there's contact. We were talking about how considerate and kind they were with the overtake earlier, but oh my word, I'm not sure if there's going to be too many more kind words from Håkon Grebstad for Jesper after that one. Let's just have a little look here at what happened. He just gets a little bit out of shape, actually, so that is great avoidance from Jesper. I think you just hit the tyre face, but that's sort of it. Look at this brilliant slow-mo there, Chaz. And
whoa, that's close.
I don't think Jesper lifted there, to be honest. I think he was just flat out and hope for the best, and there, it worked out for him.
And what has worked out here is Wayne Palmer. He's actually up into 3rd position now for Sim Stickers. Him and his teammate Brian Loynes are both very much in this fight now. They were sort of just sitting there in 4th and 5th, just inside the top 5, but now they've suddenly become involved in this bigger picture battle between these guys at the front of the field. And you can see already Hakon Grebstad does not want to wait around. He wants to get past Wayne Palmer as soon as possible, and he's certainly throwing the car in each and every direction to do it, but he's just not able to yet. And this is the beauty of these Formula 4 cars. They are amazing for close racing because you don't get this sort of aero wash you would in other open wheel and Formula cars. You don't get the massive slipstream either. You have to make your own opportunities. They are real racing cars, aren't they?
Yeah, you can see from how much Hakon Grebstad is trying to move left and right out of the rear wing of Wayne Palmer that he's not exactly exuding a picture of patience, is he? He's certainly trying to get through as quickly as possible, maybe trying to put off Wayne Palmer into a mistake. It's one of his braking zones, but Wayne seems steadfast in holding on for the moment to this podium place. Jesper Sandström has been taking a little bit of time out of Kane Halliburton, but with not too long to go in this race, I can't imagine he has been making up all of that time before the final lap. As we see Hans Polman's with a moment, and there's that tuft of grass there on the exit. Oh my word, that really unsettled the car.
What a save.
He's very lucky not to hit the wall there. They're very lucky not to get spat either to the right hand side or left. He just about managed the throttles enough to keep the car straight. But that was a very, very scary moment, especially at this point in the race where you've worked so hard to get up to that position. It's almost like the entire race flashes before your eyes when something like that happens.
Oh yeah, you're not wrong. When you have worked so hard, like you say, to get up through the order and have a battle like that, it can be a nightmare, and it can be a nightmare for Wayne Palmer by the look of it as well. He is not immune. He has gone off through the right-hander down at Mastersbocht, and it is a long, long way back to civilization from out there. John Barnes goes through. What happened to Wayne Palmer? So Hakon's all over the back of him. He's put the pressure on, and to be fair, he's not touched him. He might have touched him a little bit on the way in, but I think Wayne's just carried a bit more speed in to try and avoid being hit, potentially. I'm not sure.
I think it was more just the psychological battle. I think he was forced into a mistake. There was a lot of movement in behind from Hakon Grebstad, moving left, moving right, filling his rear view mirrors, and yeah, all of a sudden that just forced him into an error.
We've got the two Flemish cars now trying to get past Philip Russell. Kimber Haight now wants to get past his teammate Hans Polman. Silver and gold wheels for the two of them. Very close. Oh, as Philip locks up. Philip locks up on the way into turn 1 into Tarzan box, but manages to keep it together. We've had an issue for Matthew Alexander, unfortunately. He's into Masters, just clips the grass, loses the back end. Doesn't beach it though, so he gets going again, but that was incredibly close and still is, Ed.
Yeah, for a moment there, I thought we were going to see Philip Russell and Hans Bommans go side by side for the exit of Tarzan box, but I think we just saw Hans backing out before we went to that replay, so he's being a little bit smarter about things with 3 minutes to go in this race. He's focus on finishing well because we have two sprint races here, Chaz, and the second sprint race is running off of the finishing results of the first sprint race.
Yes, so those that haven't had quite the good run here need to make the most of it in the second one and get back through the order. And those that are doing well already, i.e. Kane Halliburton.
Can't afford any mistakes.
Exactly. Kane Halliburton, Jesper Sandström. Oh, well, like that. There you go. Ed May strikes again.
What have I done?
Honestly,
no.
Ed May, you have the strongest commentator's curse I know of anybody. I honestly have no words for that.
Oh, that's the compilation.
That's going in Ed's showreel, that one. Fantastic avoidance by Hakon Grebstad, by the way. John Barnes is off the road. He's done the same out of the Kumo Bocht. Just overdone it. Oh, that's it, John. You bounced it off the limit of sunshine. There's movement ahead. Sorry, I saw this. Philip Russell's got Hans Polman's down his inside. Oh, they're so close to contact again. This is amazing racing between these guys. If they keep it clean all the way to the end, they are going to come away from this with the biggest smiles on their faces because it's been so, so close all the way through between these guys. They've got so much to look at so much to enjoy, but so much to think about all at once, Ed. We've surely got one more lap to go after this.
Yeah, we should do one more lap of
Mayhem.
white knuckle entertainment. But I tell you what, this is a really, really good foreshadowing moment for the rest of the evening, because if this race is this intense, just think about what the feature race is going to be like with the reverse grid and the different strategies that could come through with the mandatory pit stop. It's going to be absolutely thrilling viewing, that's for certain. Kimberhey trying to get a good exit here, but just a touch of the gravel on the exit puts bay to those hopes as Philip Russell. He's going to be really enjoying this. He's had great performances last time out and looks set for another very strong 5th place finish.
Oh.
Maybe not though, as look at how close Hans Bowman was, almost right underneath the rear diffuser, getting a good whiff of exhaust fumes from Philip Russell as they make their way through the final corner. Philip with a good run though on Jean-Sébastien Larose, but has to cover off the inside, is not going to be getting any slipstream, and actually Jean-Sébastien is giving slipstream to the car around the outside to Hans Polmans, knowing that the two are going to fight, then gives a little bit to Philip Russell to make sure they battle and slow each other up into the corner. But oh my word, Hans Polmans fully committed all the way around the outside onto the final lap through the first corner, manages to grab 5th place, and now can he get 4th? That's the real question now.
We're on to the final lap of the race here in the first race of the night at Zandvoort. He's got a little bit of paint off the front of the nose on his car now as Hans Polmans. He was literally pushing Jean-Sébastien Larose on the exit of Tarzan Box into Schivlak once more. He's going to be pushing him down there as well. This is so close between all of these guys. Great respect though. Really clean racing. You've got to love it. This is going to become a 5-ship soon as well, because Jesper Sandström is arriving on the scene. He looks even faster than them round there. He's soon closing in, but up near the front, Kane Halliburton continues to lead.
There was a big moment there. That was Kimberhey. Huge moment there. He almost lost control as we see side by side now for 4th place. Sorry to go across you, Chaz, but this is absolutely amazing stuff. Hans Polmans, he was 6th. And now all of a sudden, in the space of 1 lap, he's going to try and fight his way through into 4th place all the way around the outside. He just gets 1 snap, a second snap, fights the regain control, and now all the way outside through the final couple of corners. Can Philip Russell get back 5th place as Kane Halliburton greets the checkered flag to win the first race of the evening, the first sprint race going his way. But wow, take a breather, everyone, as we make our way up to the line. Jean-Sébastien Larose can barely hang on to 4th place. Hans Polmans in 5th. Philip Russell couldn't quite find a way around the outside to retake 5th place, and he finishes in 6th. Jesper Sandström did get ahead of Kimberhey at the end there to finish 7th. But wow.
That was unreal. Unreal ending to the race there. Now, I wanted to have a look back at what happened between Brian Loynes and Håkon Grebstad, because the two of them swapped places right at the end. And Håkon was slow across the line. Has he had a slowdown penalty or something?
Oh dear. It might... Is that fuel?
Sounds like fuel.
What?
What on earth? And then here comes the rabble across the line behind him.
Just in time to get 3rd place.
Yeah. That was odd.
Oof.
Very odd. So we now have warm-up for a few minutes so we can... I was going to say chill, but to be honest with you, there's not much chilling going on here. That was absolutely amazing. Let's bring up your results then. We'll show you exactly how that all panned out and what the eventual race result was. Oh, I'm going to have to turn my fan on in here. Kane Halliburton takes another race victory. A fantastic performance once more. Once he got that lead back, he disappeared up the road for Spontex CDM Esports. Sim Stickers get Brian Loynes in 2nd place. Fantastic result for him. Håkon Grebstad will be scratching his head, though, after that one, because running out of fuel seemed very odd. Only a matter of thousandths of a second ahead of Jean-Sébastien Larose. Hans Polmans just behind him in 5th. Then it's Philip Russell and Jesper Sandström, who did, like you say, Ed, got ahead of Kim Behait. Wayne Palmer finishes 9th after his moment later in the race. John Barnes rounds out the top 10. Nathan Whiteley was 11th ahead of Dennis Gallo. And look how close even these guys were as well. John Tusting next up, only half a second back. He was 4/10 clear of Jakub Szymanski. Good recovery by Jakub, actually, considering that he started last. Then it's Raymond Wolpott and Matt Alexander. And then Justin Gerritsen not having a first race to remember at his home round. And then Austin Foster classified 18th. And then David Fuller 6 laps down in last place. Well, an amazing session. Plenty of entertainment all the way through there, Ed. I mean, there was so much to look at. I don't even know where to begin, but some of the battling that we saw by some of these guys was just insane. It was great stuff.
That was probably one of the craziest races, and probably one of the best races I've seen in this championship so far. That 4-way scrap that became a 5-way scrap at the end was so clean and so frantic. From the amount of action we saw in that battle, you would be expecting there to be contact. You're expecting a driver just to misjudge it and run into someone else's rear end, but no, they managed to keep it clean. Managed to race so closely as well. There wasn't any space given to any other drivers. They were going properly at it, elbows out, and somehow they came through unscathed and gave me and you, Chaz, well, heart attacks pretty much all the way from the start to finish. That was truly something amazing. I want to see, though, if we can, that little moment where Jesper Sandström was just able to overtake Kim Bahate, because
we can't, I'm afraid, because it's a new session.
Because it's swapped over sessions.
Yeah, I'm
no.
genuinely gutted, because with our timing software, basically, when it does get into a new session, we lose anything that we can sort of kick back to, essentially. Anything we can go back and watch from that first race, which is a real shame. I would load it up manually, but to pinpoint the exact fine moment from that would be very difficult indeed. We're going to have to look back on that at some point, though, because that was just so good. So good. And, you know, the guys did an amazing job at just keeping the things on the road. You know, they were so close all the way through that. And they just, they were millimetres away from each other. Absolutely millimetres away. And they kept it all clean. And they all made it to the line. And hats off to Jakub Szymanski as well, with his leg managing to make it through to the end. Fair play, mate. Fair play. I mean, he's happy that he avoided spinning, as he says in the YouTube chat, and that's understandable, because he's not had the easiest time getting to grips with this car, has he?
Yeah, and with 1.5 minutes to go until the next race is about to get underway, if you are in the YouTube chat, just talk us about how you felt about that first race, because I'll tell you what, from your perspective, Chaz, that was mind-blowing stuff. That was really amazing racing from all the drivers up and down the grid, but especially in that 5-way fight for 4th place. And there was just so many dramatic moments. It was up and down. I mean, Håkon Grebstad just barely going onto the podium by a few hundredths of a second as he ran out of fuel and had to basically just push the car over the line.
Yeah, it's very odd,
Kane Halliburton as well, managing to bring it through to take the race victory even after he wasn't quite able to get the result he wanted in qualifying. He was a real fighter, which was what we expected, but maybe not at the rate of pace he had to get up through the field that quickly. Thought maybe it would take a few more laps before he was able to dispatch Jesper Sandström. And then, of course, I need to maybe start apologising to Jesper, because of all the times I've had my commentator's curse, I don't think any have been quite so instant.
No, that was a very sudden one, to be honest with you, and I think he's probably taken you off his Christmas card list for this year at least. But we'll have to gloss over that one, because it's just about time to get the second race of the night underway. You'll see everybody disappear now. The session will tick over. There'll be a lovely flicker of the crowd, the cameras, everything. There it all goes. And we will grid up for race number 2. Kane Halliburton takes pole position then from Brian Loynes. Håkon Grebstad and Jean-Sébastien Larose, row 2. Then it's Hans Polmans, Philip Russell, Jesper Sandström, watch out for him. Kim Bahate 8th, Wayne Palmer 9th, John Barnes 10th, ahead of Nathan Whiteley, Dennis Gallo in 12th. Click the button, Chaz. John Tusting 13th, Jakub Szymanski 14th, Raymond Walpott and Matt Alexander on row 8, Justin Gerritsen 17th ahead of Austin Foster, and then David Fuller rounding out the back of the grid. So, we try this again now, Ed. We have Kane Halliburton on pole this time, Jesper Sandström coming through from further down the order. What do you reckon?
I mean, Kane Halliburton is looking like a sure shot for the race victory, but Jesper Sandström, he's going to be hungry for revenge after what I said to him. So, oh my word, that's a jump start. Maybe not Kane Halliburton as the second race gets underway.
Well,
And that is... Oh dear, what is this about Zandvoort and jump starts? If you've watched the Sim Races Magazine GT4 season, you will know all about this.
Oh, he's got the shovel out. He's brought that one up. That looked like contact nearly there by Dennis Gallo and co. But yes, there was... yeah, I'm not going to go into that one too much. He's gonna be upset with you. Kane Halliburton then leads the race, but for how long? Because, to be honest with you, I've seen starts like that before, and I've seen people go without being penalised for stuff like that. So we'll have to see what the sim has determined this time. But this has been a very tidy start, actually, by everybody. Really good stuff so far. 3 places gained for Austin Foster. He's had a really good getaway, much like he did in the first one for Crockett Club Motorsport. He's going to be hoping to continue that. Jakub Szymanski has a little blink in and out. He looks down the inside just to wait for when Jakub's car comes back on his screen. It's going to be around the outside of him. Oh, car off. Definitely a car off. Nathan Whiteley clipped the grass.
Now, I've also noticed something, because I have the ability to go into iRacing, the actual software itself, not our timing software, and have a look at what the sim is saying, look at the entries. There is a black flag next to the Kane Halliburton's name. So he has definitely been deemed by iRacing to have jumped the start, and he will need to make I believe it's a stop and go penalty, either or drive through. I can't remember which one. He needs to serve it in the next 2 laps.
And
Dear.
Austin has been, what we say, I was going to say, as we say in the industry, we don't say it in the industry, he has been clarted by his teammate there, I'm afraid. That was Matt Alexander, just getting it a little bit wrong on the brakes and ending up in the back of his teammate. Easy to do, though, on the way to the Hanzard spot, just a little bit late. Austin tries to go for the racing line, and there's a second hit there as well from the number 33 of Raymond Wolpott, and that will be a bit of an embarrassing moment there for the Crockett Club Motorsport team. Both of them ended up in the gravel, and we both know what the golden rule of motorsport is, don't we, Ed?
Blame everyone but yourself.
Yes, and don't hit your teammate.
Don't hit your teammate.
But yes, it is, unfortunately, the rule hath been broken. David Fuller's having a good race, though, because of all of this misfortune around him. He's gained 4 places off the start so far, the privateer entry, up to 15th place from 19th on the grid. However, the man that is most closely surrounded, well, it's once again Jean-Sébastien Larose. He's got Jesper Sandström behind him, and he's got Philip Russell in front of him, and he's only got a few tenths either way. But again, we have this fantastic train of cars. If you look at this, they're all so close together. Wayne Palmer is watching Kimber Haight get close to the back of Jesper Sandström, but again, just look how evenly spread they all are and how close they are to one another. It's a beautiful thing, is this series, and I'm really, really loving watching it. Now let's see what the slipstream is like. Looking back from Jean-Sébastien Larose at Jesper Sandström. Fastest lap of the race for Grebstad. Jakub Szymanski said the slipstream from about half a second back is insane, but didn't seem too potent there. Bit of a blink in and out for Jean-Sébastien, the Canadian, but he continues on. Now, Kane Halliburton's lap times obviously are not counting on our timing software. Oh no, that's Kimber Haight getting a bit of a tap. I think Jesper had to be careful not to go in the back as Jean-Sébastien Larose there, Ed.
Yeah, he did. He had to take evasive action. So let's have a little look here. First of all, this is Kimber Haight, who went to the outside and then all of a sudden had the car move up to his inside, which was Jesper Sandström, but I don't know if Jesper was really in a great space to do anything else other than move to the right-hand side. Difficult to tell from that angle as David Fuller, yet again, struggling with the rear end through Hugenholtzbocht, a corner that has really been difficult for many drivers, but especially him so far this evening, as, oh my word, what on earth has gone here? That's Brian Loynes, and that's Hans Polmans.
Yep, the two of them ended
corner
up...
where you... Sorry, Chaz, but that's a corner where you don't really see incidents.
Have they come together on the exit? Oh, Brian's lost it, and Hansi's just... Oh, he's got caught up. Oh, wow! And he gets caught up in him, basically, in the rear of the car. And that's a big, big off for Hansi. So Brian loses it mid-corner, look, just as he gets on the power there. Hansi tries to avoid, goes straight on, and then bang, up in the air it goes and into the barrier, and that has certainly damaged the front end quite a lot. Kane Halliburton is now in the pits. Raymond Wolpott's going for a ride. manages to get back on. Jean-Sebastian Larose is now off as well. Everybody's flying off the circuit now. Hakon Grebstad leads the race. And it's looking good for him.
Somehow up into second already.
Yeah, how's he done? What? Wow, what a drive. I mean, he's benefiting from all this mayhem that's going on around him, I guess.
This is bedlam. It's absolutely just carnage up and down the field. Kane Halliburton has just served his drive-through penalty, so has come back out into 14th place. Would serve him nicely for the reverse grid feature race, of course, but he wants to try and get as many points from this sprint race as he can, so it's not likely to remain in 14th in West Stalls just yet. We've seen a lot of these drivers from Homestall, Justin Gerritsen and Raymond Wolpott, I'm not sure, oh my word, seem to struggle on their own track, which is...
I thought you were going to say something good about him.
I was about to, and then I saw all of a sudden he was going to have a moment, so I quickly changed my tune there, but they're on home soil, and they're getting very into it with the virtual soil, I think, as they like to take trips through the gravel and off the circuit, but I think it's going to cool down a little bit when we get into the feature race, Chaz, for the longer style races where we don't see so many moments from the drivers.
Yeah, I think, well, the more and more time you spend on a circuit like this, the more in tune with it you become, and the little bumps and little undulations, they get more and more familiar as time goes on. In a race scenario, it's very different to just doing a hot lap, for example. Justin Gerritsen has just gone past Brian Loynes there into turn 1. Brian now down into 13th position after that earlier accident, wondering if the car is still damaged. Certainly looks like the rear wing has taken a lot of that brunt, so it's not behaving itself. We were looking at Jakub Szymanski for a moment because he has made his way into the top 10, and if we look at the position gains, look at everyone in the top 9 anyway. 2 positions gained minimum. The top 9 in this race have all benefited a lot from issues with the guys at the front, Wayne Palmer and Hans Polmans, Brian Loynes as well dropping way down, and of course Kane Halliburton having that penalty. So we've got a lot of drivers in the top 10 that have gained 5 places, a lot of them with 4 places, even 3 places as well. Fantastic stuff to see. Great determination from these drivers. But Jean-Sebastian Larose is the picture of determination right now as he tries to get past series admin Jakub Szymanski.
Yeah, doesn't want to Jakub go very deep into the corner, but managed to stop it just in time for the left-hander. Jean-Sebastian with a very good exit. So the outside no to the inside and swing it on through. It's very nicely over the curve of the inside, but look at how much Jakub squeezes him.
Oh no, Jakub. Well,
we were just praising him how well he's been racing so far, even with a gammy leg, but unfortunately it's so tricky when you're going side by side. You touch onto the gravel on the exit, and as soon as the gravel ends, there's that little bump, and the tiniest of taps, that should not be taking a wheel off like that.
Yeah, he's eventually gone back to the pits, unfortunately. He'll be very frustrated with that one, but again, he was having a good race up to that point. Oh no, Kimber Hate's off. Kimber Hate is off down at the left-hander there at Hugenholzbocht, and that's painful.
Quickly.
He does. Hey up. That was painful to see the wing like that, but again, is it just a simple loss of control on his own? It looks like it. Oh, now he's overcorrected, hasn't he, there, and put it in the wall. Easy to do that as well.
Yeah. He somehow managed to find the only hard bit of barrier through that corner, which takes some doing. Obviously, not really beneficial, but you see Kane Halliburton really pressing on, and that was an amazing exit, wasn't it, through turn 8. And Justin Gerritsen, he's not giving it up. I thought he was going to try and look for a switchback maneuver on Kane Halliburton, but it just wasn't to be. Came with a very good exit. He's now up inside the top 10, but earlier on in this race, Chaz, when we saw Jesper Sandström somehow get up into second place very early in the race, that gap was 7 seconds. Now, it's 2.
Yeah, he's flying. Absolutely flying. And the impressive thing as well is that he's got Philip Russell and Wayne Palmer going with him as well. These guys are all putting in really impressive laps. 36.4 last time round for Hakon Grebstad, 36.2 for Jesper Sandström, so he's taken another 2 tenths out. Philip Russell 36.8, 36.6 for Wayne Palmer. So we've literally got 2, 4, 6 and 8. But these guys are about 7/10 of a second quicker than the guys chasing them. No disrespect to John Barnes, because he's going well in 5th place ahead of Dennis Gallo, another one of these Spontex CDM Esports cars. But this is amazing pace by these guys up front. But Håkon Grebstad, with just a third of the race left to go, still holding on to this lead, and it looks like he's now turned it up a bit.
Yeah, he is starting to press on a little bit more. Maybe he was being a little bit more cautious to save some fuel earlier on in the race. Doesn't want a repeat of the first sprint race of the evening where he had to cough and splutter his car across the line as it was running on fumes. Okay, right now up into 9th place is dispatched of Nathan Whiteley. And now needs to set his sights on Jon Sebastian Larose, but with that gap being 7 seconds, I don't think he's likely to make up many more positions come the end of the race with only 4 minutes to go. So instead, I think our attentions might shift elsewhere as Austin Foster. Dear oh dear.
Fair play, by the way.
Certainly a big moment, but well done from Raymond Wolpott to avoid that.
That's great awareness, great avoidance. That's exactly what you want to see in your championship, is drivers using their head and avoiding incidents like that. That was really good stuff from Raymond Wolpott. Now here's Dennis Gallo looking on John Barnes, looks down the inside. John goes, oh, he went to go later on the brakes and give him the room, and then it seemed like he didn't. Oh, Dennis is off and John is off as well. They both get back on. John leaves his wing behind. Dennis leaves John behind. Kane Halliburton says thank you very much, and he's going to get up to his teammate now and go past him. As Dennis, I imagine, has probably got a bit of a broken car now with a bit of an imbalance. As whoa, way up. Speaking of imbalance, Kane Halliburton's car completely sideways. Let's have a look at this again, shall we? As John Barnes is properly out of the race now, unfortunately. He has properly parked it into the pits. Kimber Haight has been off and had his own moment as well, by the way. That's down
front wing damage
at Kumo Bocht as yep, it's really upsetting the balance of the car, isn't it? This is a look at what happened then. So John's gone. That's 6 of one, half a dozen the other for me, because if we just play it back a little bit.
Yeah, he's got the inside line, but you don't know if he has enough of an overlap to be. When they start turning in, he doesn't have enough of an overlap. So
yeah,
it looked worse in slow motion. I was grimacing as soon as I saw it happen because I thought Dennis Gallo, if he committed onto the brakes a little bit more and tried to get his car further alongside, maybe it would have been fine, but he sort of half backed out, half didn't, and I think the stewards might look at that one potentially against Dennis Gallo, which is unfortunate because he's been driving well up until that point.
Yeah.
But as soon as it was happening, you heard me, I think, Chaz, I was grimacing, and it was an inevitability that they were going to have contact, I think.
Yeah, he's just had another off as well with the damage, unfortunately. So he's lost a bit more time. Jesper Sandstrom's done the fastest lap of the race, though. We were looking at a battle there between Jon Sebastian Larose and John Tusting. Jon Sebastian has got it done in the end as they go down the start-finish straight, very close to the back of the British driver. But he goes down the inside a little bit later on the brakes. John gives him all the room. Nice stuff. And through he goes. But this is your second place man, Jesper Sandstrom. 1.7 seconds behind race leader Håkon Grebstad. He's still bringing that gap down. He was 3/10 quicker on the previous lap. And he's going well on this lap as well. It was the fastest lap of the race last time round for the Super Swede. But back to that incident though, Ed, I agree. You know, I think unfortunately that's going to reflect badly on Dennis Gallo, that one, in terms of what the stewards think. It just, you can sort of understand his confusion maybe at one point, because it did look like John was going to give the room and then did commit to the apex, but he had every right to because the overlap wasn't there. So yeah, it's a tough one, but that's down to the stewards then, not us, I guess.
Yeah, except I am part of the stewarding team.
Oh really?
So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I like to help out these with the series. So I've been stewarding in the.
Oh, I'm not giving you my
Porsche
opinion
Cup
then.
season.
I'd like
so,
to. I'd like to reflect that can't be used in evidence.
No, that's fine. Anything you say, Adam, will be used against you.
Dennis did nothing wrong. He's in a Spontex livery.
Anything you do not say now that you later rely on in the Court of Appeal will be used against you. Yeah. Oh dear. But I tell you what, Kane has really benefited from moments up ahead of him. I said he was in 9th place and unlikely to make any more places, but all of a sudden he sees himself in 7th and has really tried to and succeed, I think, in limiting the damage. He jump-started, which, like I mentioned earlier, is for some reason not too uncommon around here. But nevertheless, he has recovered brilliantly, it has to be said. Håkon Grebstad, though, he took great advantage of the gift, wasn't it, pretty much, from Kane Halliburton, and now we'll see himself come through to win the second sprint race of the evening. Jesper Sandström recovered nicely as well from disappointment in the first race to come through in 2nd place. He's going to have a lot of work to do in the feature, starting from the back, but there's plenty of chances for drivers to try and make up with creative strategies.
There is indeed. And it's not so much a creative strategy in this one other than keep it pinned, sunshine. Håkon Grebstad wins at Zandvoort in the NEVO British F4 Series. Fantastic drive from Jesper Sandström. Gets him 2nd place. Philip Russell just beats Wayne Palmer across the line after another great battle. Another awesome podium for Philip Russell. Jean-Sébastien Larose finishes in 5th place. He's ahead of John Tusting in the number 99 boosted motorsport car. Then it's Kane Halliburton. I love this camera. Oh, it changed. Nathan Whiteley in car 69 ahead of Justin Gerritsen, and then Brian Loynes is going to round out the top 10. Kane Halliburton, fastest lap of the race on the final lap, a 35.8. Wow, that is fast.
Yeah, there's Rapid and then there's Kane Halliburton. That was very quick indeed. 3/10 quicker than Jesper Sandström, the 2nd quickest driver in that session. So very nicely done indeed. Hans Polmans comes across the line in 14th place. With Kimberley in behind, a race to forget, I believe. And I'm sure they would agree. Flemish Sim Sports by Veraco, not the performance that we were expecting from them based on how well they were racing up in that first race of the evening. But they will be starting higher up the order for the feature race, and a good chance for them to see if they can try and break away and secure potentially a podium or maybe even more in the next race.
Yeah, they'll be hoping for it, certainly. But what a great race that was. Again, plenty going on, loads of action up and down the order, which resulted in the end with Håkon Grebstad taking a race victory for Ignium Motorsport. Just less than a second separated him and Jesper Sandström by the time they crossed the line, though. Jesper doing a great job there to start 7th and still finish on the podium. Philip Russell got another podium. Great to see that overall after starting 6th on the grid. Wayne Palmer started 9th and made his way up to 4th as well. A very under-the-radar performance. Jean-Sébastien Larose was next up in 5th, just ahead of John Tusting. And then we had Kane Halliburton in 7th position. Nathan Whiteley, he's not been in the championship too long as Nathan. I think Donington was his debut, actually, and he's doing well with another top 10 finish. Justin Gerritsen gets one on home soil, and Brian Loynes rounds out the top 10. Just outside said top 10, it was the 2 Crockett Club Motorsport cars of Matt Alexander and Austin Foster. Then we have Raymond Walpott completing the Go-Go Gadget Racing squad. Hans Polmans and his teammate Kimber Haight were the last 2 cars running in Flemish Sim Sports by Veraco. And then 1 lap down we had Dennis Gallo, 2 laps down John Barnes, 5 laps down Jakub Szymanski, and David Fuller unfortunately retiring early on in the race. So, after another absolute corker, Ed, we actually have to go to a break and chill out for a little bit before we get the final race of the night. What have you made of tonight's action so far, though?
Yeah, it's been amazing, hasn't it? That first race certainly did not disappoint and set the stage for a brilliant second with some excellent drives up and down the field, but with a full reverse feature race, it's going to be very tasty indeed. I can't wait to see all the action, all the strategies, and all of just the full elbows out racing that we're going to see here in a few moments' time. But yes, I think it is time that we go for a short break.
It is indeed. So, just hang around, everybody. Ed and I will be back in just a few minutes' time. You're watching the NEVO British F4 Series here on Chaz Draycott Media. Do not go away. We'll be right back with you.
opportunistic, still rubbing panels as they go together. It's folded the wing mirror in on Gerardo's car.
Misano is such a difficult circuit for these guys to get right. There's a lot of start-stop sections around the back. It's a very, very quick section as well.
It's a fantastic start from the 23. They're 4 wide there by the look of it.
The time, 'cause I wanna freeze this moment, make it mine, hold you close. Now my heart's wide open. When I'm with you, suddenly I feel no pain. Do you make it go away? Do you make it?
And good evening to a good friend of mine, Joachim Eberts. Ebe, watching from Germany. He's the German commentator for the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Good to see you, Ebe. Hello again, everybody. Chaz Draycott and Ed May here for the NEVO British F4 Series Round 4 from Zandvoort here on iRacing. And we've had two fantastic races so far this evening, a qualifying session to lead into them as well. And now we get the feature race at the end of the night. This is going to be championship order reversed, and it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. Good to see some of you guys in the chat, whether you be watching on YouTube, Facebook or Twitch. Aidan Millward in the chat as well. Yes, I know, Aidan, Zandvoort is not in Britain. We're following the sort of same concept as what the British GT Championship do, where they have an overseas round in Spa-Francorchamps. And actually, as of next year, Ed May, coming to you on this one, British GT goes to Portimao next year. Amazing news.
I know, and I absolutely love Portimao. It's a circuit that I feel is really underutilised, but it's come to the forefront with its turn to the F1 calendar back during the COVID sort of scuppered season, where they had to basically get every track that was going just to be like, can you please race it, have a Formula 1 race here? We need more rounds for our insanely long 40 round long season or whatever on earth that FOM wanted to have. So
yeah,
Portimao stepped up, and it's a really, really excellent circuit, both for endurance racing but also for open wheels, and I think it's going to be a really good fit for British GT, that's for certain. But
yeah, definitely
there are some excellent. I need to actually have a chat to Mr. mate of mine, Andy McEwen, about what his thoughts of it are. I'm sure he's going to be looking forward to flying off down to Portugal in the nice hot weather, rather than up towards Spa, which is usually
wet.
A bit wet. Wet. Yeah, there you go.
Is indeed. There was some fantastic racing, of course, on at Spa last weekend with the Spa 24 hours as well. GT3 cars at Spa just makes sense. It's just absolutely mega. And Aidan, I love that comment. Zandvoort translates to Sanford, he says. Well, yeah, fair enough. And Mark Fletcher in the Twitch chat. Good to see you, Mark. Hope you're doing well, mate. We are due a catch-up indeed, and we will have one next weekend. Sports 2000 Championships go to Alton Park next weekend for their only enduro race of the year, and I absolutely hate the word enduro, so I'm looking forward to saying that one all afternoon. Anyway, let's have a look at this grid, shall we? Nathan Whiteley and Brian Loynes on the front row. Then it's Matt Alexander and Austin Foster making up teammates on row 2. Justin Gerritsen will line up on row 3 alongside Raymond Wolpott. Then we have Wayne Palmer and Philip Russell, John Barnes and Kimber Haight, Jesper Sandström and Dennis Gallo, ahead of John Tusting and Hans Pullmans. Then it's Håkon Grebstad, Jean-Sébastien Larose, Kane Halliburton, Jakob Schmansky, and not Ed May at the back
I didn't realise that.
So what that means is Ed basically joined the session as a driver. Jakob Schmansky has just popped a bottle of champagne because the grid system has finally worked for him, and we're about to get the last race underway. Nathan Whiteley under pressure here from pole position. Ed, what do you reckon?
Oh, it's going to be exciting. I do hope that we can find Jesper Sandström to find his way up through the order. He's got a lot of cars to get through, and Kane Halliburton starting all the way at the back. He's going to be one to watch, that's for certain. Outside shot, don't put your bets on Ed May, that's for certain.
We certainly won't, mate. So, Whiteley leads us away then for the final race of the night in the NEVO British F4 Series. We're away at Zandvoort, and the cars make a fantastic noise. Yeah, that looked absolutely mega. Now, this is the thing. Austin Foster is so fast, but he just always gets caught up in incidents. Into turn 1, he's going to try and go round the outside of Nathan Whiteley. Car 69 tries to hold it down the inside. They're side-by-side on the exit of the corner. All looks nice and tidy through there, and Austin Foster leads. Great start. Wonderful stuff by the Crockett Club Motorsport machine. Everybody else trying to keep it tidy. This is where patience is a virtue, because you need to have all of the patience in the world not to take people out in front of you when they are normally slower in these reverse grids. Kane Halliburton up 3 places already, Ed. Make that 2 now. Tusting's got his nose back in front.
Yeah, it's really, it's so close, isn't it? As they go side by side all the way around the outside. Can Kane Halliburton find a way through? He needs to be, like you mentioned, having the patience of a saint to get through this without any issues. And I think he has just gotten ahead of John Tusting, as Matt Alexander, after all the hard work he did earlier on, has suddenly been shuffled right the way back through the pack now. But he's going to have to worry about Jesper Sandström just slotting there through up on his inside. Wow, Jesper has really got to move on up 4 places. So is Kane up 5 places. So is Håkon Grebstad up 4. There is so much action, but look at that, he's inside, and for a moment there was almost contact there between John Barnes and Kane Halliburton, and there's still almost contact between the 2 of them.
Dennis Gallo
and...
Yep. You got one, I got the other.
Gallo, yeah, that's...
Oh, man.
Very fast and frenetic opening lap, but thankfully no big moments. Drivers relatively unscathed, but for how long will that last, as they look to be going almost 3 wide into the first corner as we start the second lap. But it is Loynes from Whiteley from Foster.
That was so close there with Nathan Whiteley, Austin Foster and Justin Gerritsen. Justin tried to go down the inside, and then Austin tried to cut back across the inside line while there were still cars there, but the whole field is so close together. Look at this as we keep this camera on them as they go all the way down. It's one massive train of Formula 4 cars here. This is amazing, Ed. Look, we'll go forward. Actually, no, this camera won't work like this. It never does. It jumps like that, you see. It's not that pretty. Kane Halliburton goes past Raymond Wolpott down the inside into Shivlak. Nice move once again by the championship leader. But Brian Loynes leads this race, interestingly. He has got ahead of Nathan Whiteley near the end of that previous lap. Let's have a look how he did it.
This was him up the inside of Austin Foster and locks up. Has to take evasive action to avoid going into Nathan Whiteley, but that evasive action almost turns into an impromptu overtaking manoeuvre, as we see now. Wayne Palmer battling away with Jesper Sandström. Jesper around the outside will then get the inside, and I think has been able to hang on to that position and take 5th for the moment. Yes, he has, and now can set his sights on Justin Gerritsen and Nathan Whiteley, just a little ways up the road. But it's so close, isn't it? There's a long train of Formula 4s that's been slightly disturbed by Raymond Wolpott going off-roading yet again. Just the tap of the gravel on the exit, which is so easily done. So many drivers have found out the hard way that it's not where you want to be. Pushing the limits a little bit too hard, coming back to bite them time and time again. Matt Alexander, look at this. He's under a lot of pressure now. Håkon Grebstad, again, not being very patient, looking right and left.
Yeah, you were saying about places you wouldn't want to be. I don't think I'd want to be anywhere near any of this, to be honest, because it's so close. We've got cars 3 wide at almost every corner we get to. And then you've got always one car trying to overtake somebody else, then trying to slot back in again because they've lost time, having to back out of the move and so on. Hakon Grebstad now making a move on Matt Alexander just ahead of this. Side by side they go. Matt's on the outside. Oh,
Whoa.
Kane spots an opportunity. That was beautiful stuff. Back down the inside again. Oh, it just doesn't work for Matt. He tried to get the cutback on him, but that was a hell of a move by Kane Halliburton. That was unbelievable opportunism. Look at this. How do you fit that through there, son? Wow.
And then look at him behind Kimber Haight. You can see the rearward shot. He goes around the outside to then get the inside. He picks up the scraps beautifully there and now finds himself up into 10th place behind Halliburton. This was the onboard shot. Ooh, that was very close.
Very.
The front wing was dangerously close to that left rear tyre.
Look at this lot. It's still going.
Yeah, throughout all of this as well, Jesper Sandstrom has found himself up into 3rd place, and I wonder, Chaz, when we see them go 3 wide and hopefully come through unscathed,
oh no!
how he did it. Oh dear. Wayne Palmer, I thought it was going to get collected there, but great awareness from all the drivers following close behind to just go to the inside. This is John Tusting a while earlier, and that looked like a huge amount of net code.
Yeah, that's a really odd one, that is. John Tusting and Hans Pullmans both having issues. So it was a very delayed reaction, wasn't it? Hansi did go into the back of him, but it was a very delayed reaction from the sim, that one.
I'm not sure if he did go into the back of him. I don't know from that camera angle we can see it. If we look from a camera angle that shows maybe the rear end of his car, like this, there we go.
Oh, I don't know. I think the wing end plate did go through the tyre. It's tough. I mean, it's marginal even if it did, so I don't think it'd upset it that much, but yeah, that's an odd one. As Nathan Whiteley is off and around, and there's another car off and involved as well. That's Justin Gerritsen as well. The other of the Straight Line Racing False Group Esports cars gets out there as well. Whoa.
What on earth is going on?
Justin Gerritsen went off. I think he's lost it, and then Whiteley's got involved behind him. Oh, Whiteley. Oh, now did Whiteley get turned?
That was Kane Halliburton in that, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was.
12 car, I think, might have tapped the rear end. Let's have a look.
No, he's gone.
The car was already going. The car
Yeah.
was already going. And I think it was basically 90 degrees to the track where there was maybe a slight contact that helped the car around, but it was already going to be spinning before that point. There's a plume of tyre smoke through Tarzanbach, so not sure what's been going on there. As Brian Loynes, we saw him do a little bit of rally crossing as we came to show him on our live pictures, but he still leads the race ahead of Austin Foster, but chasing down very quickly is Jesper Sandstrom. But Kane Halliburton, such is his performance at getting through the field, he's only a second behind, you know. It's very close indeed.
Yeah, there's an amazing train of cars even in the middle of the field here. Just constant traffic on this circuit. It's amazing. So, oh, hello, Hansi down the inside. That's the second time Matt Alexander has been mugged by about 1 millimetre down the inside. As now Dennis Gallo tries to go around the outside. Let's have a look. Oh, banging wheels on the exit. Now that's like a bit of Villeneuve and Arnoux, that is. That was back here in, what was it, 1980? Oh no, Matt's around. Oh, he saved it somehow. That looked like it was properly around, but Matt Alexander saves it. But yeah, that was Gilles Villeneuve and René Arnoux, that was, back in, oh god, Kimber Haight's off. Oh, somehow doesn't hit the wall. How on earth, what is this race, Ed? This is mayhem.
I don't know.
This is fantastic.
You were saying Villeneuve Arnoux, I was thinking Cleland Soper for that content. That was a huge wheel-to-wheel moment, wasn't it? That was stunning stuff that both managed to come out unscathed, which, I mean, same cannot be said in the former situation, but moving on, we can follow an amazing scrap, isn't it? Hans Polmans, he's got ahead of John Barnes, but needs to make haste to try and break away. Is Jakub Szymanski. He's having a great race so far from the back of the grid up into 13th place, and I'm firmly gripping my wooden desk not to curse Jakub here because he is, I think, in dire need of a good result tonight.
He is indeed, and right in front of him we've got the inter-team battle here. Jean-Sébastien Larose down the inside of Nathan Whiteley. Now can Szymanski take advantage of that? Whiteley letting his teammate through. Jakub puts his nose down the inside. Kimber Haight wants a piece of it as well. We need to go forward though, because Jesper Sandström is doing exactly that actually. He's continued to move forward as well. He's just gained another position on Austin Foster to go up into second place now. Hakon Grebstad is fourth. He's got Kane Halliburton right behind him. And then we go back to this once again, because now suddenly Jean-Sébastien Larose is getting past Dennis Gallo involved in this one as well. The Spontex CDM Esports car, which Mark Fletcher has correctly identified. One of three. Oh, Jean-Sébastien Larose puts the car in the barrier, lights it up on the exit. Let's have a look. Oh, clips the gravel and then gets a hit from the Hedgehog. And then, yeah, lights it up in frustration again. Dennis Gallo has come into the pits. No, he hasn't. Kimber Haight. Oh, no! Dennis Gallo, well, he's got about as much flamboyance as a flat hedgehog in the road right now. That is him out of the race. Him and Nathan Whiteley have both had an incident. Oh! Dennis was genuinely coming into the pits, and Nathan's just nailed him.
In Larose wasn't expecting him to be slowing down and was instead going for some slipstream.
Whiteley.
Oh, it's Whiteley. Oh dear.
Now, we mentioned the Portuguese circuit earlier on. Now, I'm pretty sure that happened at Estoril a long time ago down the straight with one of the Williams, I think it was, right behind. Oh, I'm trying to remember the McLaren driver now. Was it Andretti? No, I don't think it was Andretti. He didn't race McLaren, did he? Who was the driver that raced a McLaren that was rubbish? That got replaced by Häkkinen. I can't remember who it was. But basically, one of the McLarens went to go into the pits, turned over to the right, broke, and then the Williams hit the left rear of the car, went flying up into the air. I know if Aidan Millward's still in the chat, he will definitely know that one. But still...
Thomas has just entered difficulties here, Chaz. He's dropped behind John Barnes, and I'm not sure what's happened there. The two were very close together at one stage, and now all of a sudden he's dropped back about a couple of seconds.
Whoa.
Oh dear, he just tags the rear, well held, hanging onto the brakes, locking up to keep the car's trajectory stable, slow it down enough to then ease off the brakes, allow the car to grip up once more and turn away from the wall that was rapidly approaching his front end. I want to have a look as well, because Kane Halliburton and Hakon Grebstad, this position has swapped back numerous times, and I want to see how all of these battles have unfolded, because they have been very closely fighting all race long.
They have indeed. Halliburton up 14 places, Grebstad up 11, Sandström up 9. Aidan has confirmed it was Michael Andretti in the McLaren. Thank you very much, mate. I knew I wasn't going insane. But we have the Racing Line in the chat with us as well. Jack Johns, he's just announced his new season of the Jetta Cup, which appears on VCO Esports. Season 3, the sign-up for that is now live. So if you do like Jettas, I know that a lot of you don't, I certainly do, then you can go and race in that. Jack commentates on the CDM Formula 1 World Championship with me, and we have a good old laugh when he's not away sunning it up in Los Angeles, the sod. Anyway, Brian Loynes continues to lead this race. He's got apparently 4 seconds according to the timing tower, but that's not true. It's about 1.5 seconds to Jesper Sandström. And then he's got Kane Halliburton and Hakon Grebstad chasing him down. That's not really a position anybody wants to be in, is it, Ed?
Lap times, though, are looking very good for Brian Loynes, which is probably going to be a comfort to him. His last lap time was a 37.24. Jesper Sandström in second place, 37.25. So 100th between the pair of them in favour of Brian Loynes shows that he has the pace here to fight for the race victory, which is going to be key for him, because Jesper Sandström is going to be trying everything he can to bring that battle back down. As I say that, all of a sudden Jesper Sandström takes 4.5 tenths out of his advantage, and Kane Halliburton takes a second out of Brian Loynes' lead by going into the 36s, comfortably into the 36s, fastest lap of the race by some margin from our championship leader, currently in third place. And now we're going to start to think, are these drivers going to battle it out or work together to catch up to Brian in the lead of the race?
Yeah, I don't think these guys are going to work together in the slightest. They have to consider the pit stops still, which do need to come. Now, we did see a number of drivers in practice practicing, funnily enough, their pit lane entries, but it's not an easy one here, as we've already seen. You know, it's a very short run into the pits. You're flat out pretty much most of the way down the straight still, and then you've got to slam on and flick the car to the right, then the left, and it's a tiny amount of road before you then slam on the brakes and get it into your pit box. Spontex CDM Esports car all over the back of the Alcantech car here, though. Kane Halliburton looking very, very strong indeed once again. But Jesper Sandström, he's certainly met his match, actually, hasn't he, in the form of Jesper, as Kane?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's met his match as well in Håkon Grebstad, though, from the start of the season, as he is right in behind. Let's not forget, after the first round, Håkon Grebstad, I believe, was leading the championship before he missed the second round and took that as his drop. So I definitely think it's still all to play for in this season. Drop rounds, I don't think have been factored into the championship standings just yet, though, Chaz. So I think maybe after Zandvoort they will start to be counted and factored in, and that could be a key determining element of this championship, as Kane Halliburton looks to go all the way around the outside, set it up beautifully through Tarzanbach into Hugenholtz, and he gets the move sealed down beautifully.
That was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous by Kane Halliburton. Like you say, he set it up a long time ago. He moved to the outside at Tarzan, and then he held it round the outside into the next right-hander, and then, of course, into the next left. He was still there, but Jesper is coming back through Skivlak, and this is opening it up now to Håkon Grebstad, who has to take evasive action. He's now down the inside of Jesper Sandström, cuts him off, and nearly goes into the side of him. But the more these two fight, Kane's going to be able to break away, so they need to nip this in the bud very, very quickly indeed. And Håkon is through, but all of a sudden there's 3/4 of a second ahead to Kane Halliburton. He's seen that going on, and he's like, right, let us go. He is absolutely flying away already. 2 seconds ahead of that to Brian Loynes, but what a fantastic bit of racing that was, Ed.
Håkon Grebstad, he snatched that position. Look at this, slinging up the inside. No reply possible for Jesper Sandström, who tried to fight it all the way around the outside, but you can see that it's not grippy at all. No rubber laid down all the way out there for Jesper Sandström, so Håkon was able to secure third place, and he's now got to focus on catching back up to Kane Halliburton before they all join up to the rear end of Brian Loynes. This is Wayne Palmer with a healthy amount of slipstream, and I don't think that Russell is going to be fighting this one too hard. He's actually opting for the outside line, which is a line. Never mind.
He's held him off.
It works so. It has held him off, and to be fair, the outside line works so well through Tarzan because it gives you the best exit possible, and it's something that's worked for me around this track. A lot of times drivers will defend the inside like their life depends on it, but the way the circuit is cambered at that particular point allows you to properly send it through, carry lots of momentum, and if you force the driver on the inside to take a tighter line, they have to brake so much earlier, they can't carry the momentum through for fear of running wide into you.
Race leaders off.
Really use that to your advantage. Just what? Oh dear, Brian Loynes feeling the pressure as soon as Håkon Grebstad got through and started pushing up to him.
Oh, he's around very slowly, and to be fair to Brian, you know, he doesn't, out of frustration, kick it straight back onto the road. He lets it roll back so it doesn't scare anybody else, but that is a real shame. He's been doing so well. It must be because he's not sorted his numbers out, and he's not got black numbers like everybody else has as part of the regulations. Anyway, Kane Halliburton now leads the race, and that's exactly where we're used to seeing him. He's got 10 minutes of the race left to go, though, Ed. Things can still change. Pit stops can go wrong. People can get done for speeding. We've seen it before.
Yeah, if I was in Brian Loynes' position now, what I would probably do is come into the pits right away, which he has done. Very smart, because at that point of the race, you've had a moment, you've dropped out of the lead. The best thing you can do is come into the pits, take your fuel, give yourself a little bit of time to reset and cool down, and get your head back in the game, which is, I think, the key point. It's not only a break for yourself, but also just for your tyres. You've scrubbed them through spinning, and it helps you just reset mentally with the car, reset as well, and just go out there and give it everything for the final half.
Doesn't help you reset your numbers, though, does it?
No.
Anyway, I'm joking,
He's
Brian.
saying he deserves it.
I love you, Brian. I'm joking.
Matt Alexander.
Oh, no.
Oh,
The back end broke away from him so suddenly round there. And then all of a sudden, that's it. And he's out and he's in the pits. Kane Halliburton continues leading this race. And, well, Håkon Grebstad he's up there with him, though, isn't he? He's not completely dropped away, to be honest with you. So, hats off to him.
Definitely not. He's definitely up there and looking to come through. I'm interested what Håkon Grebstad is thinking at this stage of the race, what he will do for the strategy battle, because he's got two options. He can either try and stay in behind Kane Halliburton and maybe save a little bit of fuel, have a shorter fuel stop and see if he can leapfrog him through the pits, or come in a little bit earlier and try the undercut. Maybe that will try and favour him if he gets favourable track position, doesn't find any traffic. Jesper Sandström did not have a good lap last time around, though. He's in the 37.9s. What is happening to the Alcantec NHR driver? He doesn't seem to be quite at home with his track and with the car as he was in the first race of the evening.
Yeah, it's not been the sort of pace we'd expect in this stage. I mean, you might have just made the odd little mistake here and there on the last couple of laps, but it certainly hasn't been as convincing as we've seen before from Jesper Sandström. So hopefully he manages to turn it around in the last 10 minutes. We are into the final third of the race now, and this is exactly how it looks then. 16 places gained for Kane Halliburton, race leader, started from pretty much the back of the grid, 17th place. Håkon Grebstad in second, started not too far ahead of him, and then Jesper Sandström is in third. Austin Foster actually started fourth on the grid and is still there now. He's doing a really good job in this race, but like I say, he's got the pace. He's just always a bit accident prone. He's ahead of Philip Russell and then Hans Polmans. John Barnes is the next car up. Well, it's like being a spectator, this, isn't it? Raymond Wolpott, unfortunately, though, is so far behind that the camera will change, but he is in 8th position so far. We'll show you how the pit stops look, so you can see that Brian Loynes is actually the highest placed car that has pitted at the moment, and that's where they all are on circuit. There is Brian Loynes highlighted in yellow, the yellow ring around the outside of the car, and you can see that it's quite evenly spread, isn't it, Ed? There's not really much else going on around there.
Yeah, I think if the likes of Kane Halliburton were to pit now, that would probably put him likely just ahead of Raymond Wolpott. Maybe just, though. So he might want to try and extend his stint a little bit further and try and come out into that clear air, because there's a big gap, isn't there, between 8th and 7th place at this moment in time.
Yeah, 8.9 seconds between the two of them, so they don't have to worry too much, but you need to, like you say, consider that clear air. John Tusting is the other car in this race that is currently where he started, other than Ed May at the bottom there. John started the race 13th.
Where I belong.
John has remained in this position pretty much all the way through it, to be honest with you. He's not quite having the exciting weekend, or race weekend as we'd call it, that we've seen him have before. You can just about see the Only John's branding there on the car as part of John Barnes, John Tusting, and then Toby John Ward, as they call him, at Boosted Motorsport. They're a really good bunch. A very, very good laugh, those guys, and if you ever do get the chance to race them, keep an eye out for their liveries. They're all really kind-hearted folks, very capable racers as well. You know, it's always clean racing with them guys. I know one of their ex-team members now that races for Altitude Esports, Adam Hedgecock, our Hedge, good mate of mine. I've always had good battles against Hedge, and he's embarked on more and more very impressive cinematography recently as well, actually. So
shame you didn't grab him actually for the Hedgehog.
I know.
Adam Hedgecock.
I know. I've missed a chance there, haven't I?
Yeah, well, but
I'm not good. I'm not good at branding or marketing, so.
No, that's a shame. It's a big crying shame. But I tell you what, there have been some great performances. I have to say though, the Boosted Motorsports did miss out on the trifecta of their Johns, because they do also have John Roberts, who
yes,
just a couple of days ago had an absolutely amazing performance in the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 series, didn't he? At Monza.
He did.
Pick up a second place, his best result of the season. And I have to say, you mentioned their liveries. That sort of is it Ukrainian Air Force inspired livery that he runs.
Cool. Oh, yeah, John does run an Aston Martin in the blue digital camo from the 831st Brigade of the Ukrainian Air Force, which they run on their Su-27 P1M flankers. Yes, I'm a nerd. And unfortunately, I mean, not to sour this too much, but one of the ex-display pilots of the Su-27 was tragically killed at the start of the whole conflict. He was up there defending his country and unfortunately was shot down and killed, and there was a wonderful tribute to him at the Royal International Air Tattoo this year. A good friend of mine as well, who I know in the squadron, Yuri Bilavka, who became the display pilot for the squadron. He's still going strong and he's still fighting out there, which is good to see. But yeah, we obviously don't want to go on about that and the background of that too much after spending ages on it. Kane Halliburton has just done the fastest lap of the race. There's some new news for you. 1:36.29 he has done with only a few minutes left. I'm surprised the fuels last this long, actually, Ed. It's doing really well, isn't it?
It is. It's probably just been able to really manage it, and if you can lift and coast in the right areas, you don't lose any time at all. If you clutch in, you
like that.
Don't get any like this yet. You just hear the engine note through here. There you go. Doesn't rate, just lets it coast through again. Just coasting it through.
Yeah.
We're gonna hear it through here. Just about.
Listen to it into here though. This is where it'll be big.
Every single corner.
Yeah, he definitely dipped the clutch through Shivlak, but he's not doing it anywhere else, actually. I imagine he'll come in on this lap because he must be getting on very, very low now. He'll be running on fumes at this point, will Kane Halliburton. But it's been a very impressive performance from him once again, and we've seen that patience, haven't we, for him to come through the order, because you often get drivers that they're incredibly fast, like incredibly fast. I mean, at the end of the day, Kane is now less than 8,000 I rating, unfortunately. 7,958 though, so he's not far off. But you see drivers of that sort of calibre and they just don't display the patience needed for this sort of league when there is a big spread in talent, and it's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, but if there's one driver that is patient, it was Kane. You could just see at the start of this race how cautious he was, how smart he was with the traffic. But how close will it be on pit exit? Kane Halliburton is making his way out, and, well, not close at all. It turns out Kane Halliburton will have a 2-second advantage coming out of Tarzan Bock now. And Hakon Grebstad in behind will have 3 minutes just about to try and make up that time. Let's see if there's any way through to take the race victory away from current championship leader Kane Halliburton, who will look to extend his advantage with the race victory here tonight. Again, it's what we said at the start of the broadcast. He's probably the driver most likely to take a Grand Slam, but again, he's just missed out. That jump start in that second race is what's put an end to it.
It is indeed. As we have hopefully a battle that won't have an end to it here, because this is great stuff by Philip Russell, Brian Loynes and Austin Foster, the three of them fighting for the positions just outside the podium. We've got Jesper Sandstrom still in third. He's still on for a podium at this point, but he's just not been setting the world alight as we've seen in previous races. But these guys are now going to become a four-ship, because if we look behind us, there's Wayne Palmer. He's joining in the party as well. He wants a piece of this with these guys. So this quartet of a battle is going to take us into the final couple of laps now. We're going to have about 2 minutes left after this. Kane Halliburton has not crossed the line yet, so I think we might actually just have two more laps. So it's not going to change in the moments where it takes him to cross the line now, as he has done. So yeah, 2 minutes, 2 more laps.
With Wayne Palmer at the back of this 4-car train. When did we see this 4-car train before? Oh, I remember the first race of the evening. How did that end? Brilliantly. Excellent racing all the way through till the end, and hopefully we will be in for more of the same as Austin Foster.
Oh no! Oh no! Ed, shut up! You are fired, Ed. Honest to God.
I'm gone. Bye, everybody.
I can't believe it. What is, like... How do
Bye-bye.
how do you do that?
Have a nice night.
You need to teach me how you do that.
Oh. Well.
You need to teach me how you do that. Please. Please, Ed.
Oh. I'm glad we don't have face cam on because I am beetroot red right now. That is... Oh, dearie dear.
You need to teach me how to do that.
God, there are no words. There are no words.
I just can't. Well, Jakub Szymanski's in the top 10 now. He's having a good race. He started this race 18th on the grid, the last car that started the race, and he's continuing to do a very good job. However, a man that's continuing to do an incredible job, and I'm very grateful for him running my colours, it's Kane Halliburton, and he's going to start the final lap of the race here at Zandvoort. He's only 2.8 seconds clear of Håkon Grebstad, so he has brought the gap down a tiny bit, but not enough at the moment. Jesper Sandström still running in third. This battle is still going on outside the top 3 places. Austin Foster's on his own, and then it's Hans Polmans and Brian Loynes together. So Brian did recover very quickly from his little spin, and now Hansi is the one that he's fighting with, Ed. Final lap left to go.
I'm glad you were the one who decided to talk about Jakub Szymanski and how good his race is going, and not me, because I don't want to tempt any more fate. He's currently up into 9th place, so if I talk about drivers they do badly, you seem to talk about them and they do well. He's made up a position since you last mentioned his name, so let's just not put any cameras on him and see what happens. See if he can finish there, as Hans Polmans battling it out with Brian Loynes right till the end. This is for 5th place. Brian looking all the way around the outside. He's got just about an overlap, and Hans forced him wide there. That was sketchy stuff.
It was. There was not much room at all, and then Kim Behait goes through as well. Brian's not going to enjoy that. He's had a very tough race since the incident he had earlier. Oh, Hansi's gone off, though. There's instant karma for you, I guess. Not that I'd wish that upon any of them, but yeah, Hansi makes a mistake and goes off. And now his teammate's going to go through, but we now need to look back at the front, because the man that is still there and is going to take yet another victory in this championship. It's going so well for Kane Halliburton. He takes his 2nd win of the night here at Zandvoort. I can't even get the consonants out, but Kane Halliburton wins. Great performance again. Håkon Grebstad finishes 2nd, fastest lap of the race at the end by Kane Halliburton. Jesper Sandström gets another podium. Really well done to him. What a drive that is by Austin Foster as well, you know. He's done a really good job there. And 4th place for Crockett Club Motorsport will go down well. Now, how's this going to finish between the 2 Flemish cars? Hansi just ahead of his teammate Kim Behait. Across the line they go. Brian Loynes is next up, just clear of John Barnes. Jakub Szymanski, 9 places gained. He's going to finish inside the top 10. Well done to him. And Philip Russell is going to round it out. Well, Ed, you need to get that commentator's curse sorted. But what a fantastic night of racing. That was really good fun.
It was amazing. A round to remember, that's for certain. Like most of the times when these really British series have a flyaway round, it usually adds a little bit of drama, a little bit more spice into the mix, and well, spice we certainly were given there in that feature race that had everything. A brilliant drive up through the field from Kane Halliburton with Håkon Grebstad and Jesper Sandström in hot pursuit. Late drama as well with that 4-way fight that quickly turned into a 4-way incident, but also just up and down there were some huge moments. I mean, that first race was beggars belief how those 5 drivers in the end were able to go wheel to wheel and race each other so hard without incident. That's got to be probably the race of the season.
Yeah.
Feature or sprint, that has got to be the standard.
Yeah, definitely. That was really impressive stuff. Great entertainment. As Joachim Eberts has confirmed as well, great racing action on the track in Zandvoort. We also have Victor Oliveira saying, poor commentator, poor Ed. Thank you for the kind words though, Victor. Martin Kenyon says that your P45 is in the post, Ed, and I totally agree. And Anthony Davenport saying Finch's Park are impressed. We're very glad indeed. Thank you for watching, guys. Not much longer to go now though, but we do have some driver interviews coming up, so stick around. Kane Halliburton takes the final win of the night though, ahead of Håkon Grebstad and Jesper Sandström. Austin Foster gets a very important and very impressive 4th place. Hans Polmans and his teammate Kimber Haight finished together once again, 5th and 6th for those guys. Brian Loynes will be wondering what might have been after a great start to the race and a great lead early on. Unfortunately, it all unravelled slightly in the last couple of laps. Next up, we have John Barnes in 8th place, with Jakub Szymanski getting another top 10 tonight, ahead of Philip Russell finishing 10th position. Raymond Wolpott just outside of the said top 10 in 11th, ahead of John Tusting. Then it's Jean-Sébastien Larose, a driver that really didn't have the evening we would have expected. Dennis Gallo finishing 14th, and then the drivers that were 1 lap down or more were Wayne Palmer, Justin Gerritsen, Matt Alexander, Nathan Whiteley, and not Ed May. So, I've got loads of messages and all sorts coming in from Discord, and we're going to have a look now and see whether there are any drivers around for a quick chat. Before we do that, we're going to skip back to the start of the race. We're going to slow-mo it. We're going to turn the music down. We're going to do all these wonderful things that we have to do when we chat to these guys. And the first person that I want to speak to is a man that he didn't finish the last race in as dramatic a fashion as we would have expected, but still he got some strong points tonight. Jesper Sandström joins us in the chat. What did you make of the circuit tonight, Jesper? Because that didn't look like an easy place to race these cars. You had to push quite a lot.
Yeah, it's a bit sketchy around here. Certainly a lot of places to go off.
And it's one of those circuits where it's quite an old school track, so there's no run-off or anything like that. If you run wide, you're clipping the grass, and it's going to be a big moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of game over if you dip too much into the grass. Obviously, the Pesk drivers can do that, but they have a different kind of car.
You're very, very, very correct there, mate. I mean, talk us through how the car behaves around a circuit like this, though, because we've seen a few times that drivers like to sort of four-wheel drift it into corners and sometimes get the back end stepping out, but others keep it very traditional. You know, it looks like a scale electric car, like it's on rails. How do you prefer it around a track like this?
I kind of like it when it feels a bit glued, but unfortunately I made my car very loose towards the feature race because the temps were a fair bit higher here than they were earlier on when in the qualifying and such, so I tuned the setup to be more aggressive throughout the session, and that obviously backfired a bit. I had a fair deal of hairy moments in the feature race where I almost dropped the car, so I decided to just back down and settle for P3.
Well, still, it's been good points for the championship, mate, and of course that moves forward to another very, very wonderful circuit next time out, and we go back over to the British Isles, of course, which is one of the important things in this championship, as we've been reminded. We go to the home of British motorsport, can't get the words out, Silverstone. What do you make of going there?
That will probably be a drag race, probably very low wings and a lot of tow around there, but should be good fun. Hopefully I can get some proper practice in for that round.
Well, we hope that you can, and of course look forward to seeing how you get on. Is there anyone you'd like to give a quick thanks to?
Yeah, my team once again for being a bunch of lovely guys and supportive.
Great stuff. Well, always a pleasure to speak to you, Jesper. Thank you very much for jumping in, and we'll see you next time round at Silverstone.
Thanks. See you around.
Cheers, mate. So, Jesper Sandström, and, well, we've already got a massive group of guys actually jumping in for a chat here. I do want to speak to Håkon Grebstad because he was right in the thick of all of that. There was always cars around him, and he comes away with points. The main thing I want to ask about, though, what on earth happened at the start of race one, the end of race one, I should say, with the fuel?
Well, I seem to have, like, I don't know, 0.3 of a liter too little fuel, something like that.
Ah, right, okay. Now, I always thought for some reason that it was a fixed setup. And I realised then with a few guys talking and what Ed was mentioning earlier, it's not a fixed setup, but there is a fuel limit, isn't there?
Yeah, there is a fuel limit of 16, but obviously you don't need that much for the sprint race, as it's only 15 minutes. And I went for 10 liters, and that was like half a liter short. Ah,
I see.
Probably wasn't that, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's always the tiny margins like that can affect everything. But talk us through the rest of the night, though. I mean, the actual battling that you had on track was amazing all the way through that.
Oh man, Zandvoort, it's just such a hard track to drive, and then when you have 20 cars around you, it's even worse. Sweating bullets, that's for sure. But yeah, very, very happy I got away with running out of fuel, still getting third. Could have been a lot worse, and yeah, some good points and some good battles.
Well, I mean, we go to Silverstone next time out. That's another big Grand Prix circuit, but obviously a lot wider than this place with a lot of runoff to offer as well. Is that a place you're going to enjoy racing at, do you reckon?
Nah, I can't. I just don't understand Silverstone. I just
You and me
never
both.
do well there.
You and me both, mate. I don't know why everyone raves about it. I think it's boring as hell.
Yeah.
But
I feel like I'm running the lines perfectly, and then I'm like 2 seconds off. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong there.
we're going to get on just fine. To be honest with you, though, mate, it's been a very impressive championship from you so far. What are your aims for the whole season now? I mean, with a few rounds left, it looks like Kane has sort of got it wrapped up. Do you think you can grab second and hold it?
Yeah, I mean, if Kane jump starts a few more times, then maybe at the top. But yeah, I'm going to do my best. If Silverstone's the last race, then I don't know how well I'm going to do there. But I didn't think I'd do well tonight, so who knows.
Well, we look forward to it either way, Hakon. Thank you very much for joining us again. Is there anyone that you'd like to give a thanks to while we've got you in the booth?
Just, all my friends watching and my team, Big Motorsport.
Beautiful stuff. Well, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us, mate, and we'll see you in a few weeks' time.
See you then.
Cheers. And, right, I want to drag him in so he can apologise live on air to his teammate, but also for the fact that he's brought a lot of fans to the championship. Matt Alexander joins us in the booth. Sorry, Ed. Matt, how are you enjoying this so far? Because that looked like a bit of a tough evening, to be honest.
I'm surprised I haven't already gone and had a shower, to be honest, because I am absolutely dripping. And yeah, that wasn't because I'm being concentrating or because I'm skillful at this, because it was just sense overload for about 2 hours that are just absolutely manic, but I loved every second of it.
And that's the thing about sim racing. You know, everybody always says that the cars and the actual race, well, the cars themselves may not be real, but the racing is. And, you know, the physical effort that goes into it and all of the effort that goes into just the mental preparation and the constant focus, it's all a very similar kettle of fish, isn't it?
It absolutely is, yeah. And it's not until you get, and I've noticed this, the difference, the league racing to the, the official races that happen throughout the week. When you're racing the same guys every week, you spot the cars, you spot the numbers, you spot the liveries, you kind of understand who's quick, who's not, who's going to make a move, who's going to defend. And I guess I'm still quite new to this, so I'm very conscious I don't want to crash into anyone. And so I thought I'd just do it to my teammate, because at least it'll go easier on you, see.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's always tough when you're focusing on one car and then there's another car braking a bit earlier or a bit later. You know, there's so much going on in a race like that, and in these cars especially, because they're so good for close racing, you've got to look at so many different things at once, haven't you? And it can be very overwhelming very quickly.
It is, yeah, and there's no matter of laps you can do in a week that just, yeah, you can get quicker around one lap. And yeah, I'm not too slow, but I'm not obviously anywhere near the front, but yeah, you chuck everyone else in that grid and then the lights go. And I was chatting to Austin on team radio when he was on the grid, and because you get put up to the front, suddenly the pressure grows a bit more. You know, the fast guys are behind you. You think, I'm going to have to defend into the first corner, and then suddenly all best plans go out the window and you're just stuck in the middle of it and you just got to just fly by the seat of your pants. So yeah, suddenly all the practice goes out the window and you just think, I just got to try and do what's in front of me now. And yeah, just spin off wherever you can.
Sounds like a plan that I've unconsciously been following for years. Either way, though, it's an absolute pleasure, Matt. And again, thank you for everybody that you've brought into the championship as well. There's been so many fantastic people giving wonderful support on the YouTube stream, and obviously supporting yourself and the team as well. It's been great to see it, and obviously helps the championship and helps us in the long run, of course, to spread the word, and even my channel as well, which I'm very grateful for. Is there anyone that you would like to give a shout out to in particular for tonight?
Yeah, everyone from Finch's Park who is currently downstairs in my living room watching this on the TV.
Oh right, they're all there in the house.
So yeah, it's become a bit of a thing. So yeah, you might see one view come up on the channel, but that's probably equates to about 10 people all sat around the TV watching it. So yeah, everyone there.
That's mega to know. Absolutely mega. Well, you go and enjoy it, mate. Have a shower. Let them know how it all feels from inside the cockpit. And, well, I'm sure, to be fair, they've already watched the interview, so I don't know what I'm on about. Either way, Matt, thank you very much for joining us, mate. Thank you for all you do, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Lovely. Cheers, guys. All the best.
Cheers. What a fantastic guy Matt Alexander is. And like I say, he's done a hell of a lot to bring a lot of people to watch the series and just to support it and get on board with his ventures as well. And it's really nice to see. But boy, we've been given a night of racing and a half tonight, Ed. You've really flexed that commentator's curse. I think it's run out for the year.
I don't know about that, Chaz. We'll have to find out in a couple of weeks when we go to Silverstone, won't we? And see if the curse is still as strong as ever. But what an evening's entertainment Zandvoort provided us. There were some amazing performances. I have to say, though, one of the stars of tonight has to be Håkon Grebstad. Third in the first race, winner of the second race, second in the feature race, podiums all the way through, so consistent, which is what he needs for his championship. That's going to see him really good up until the end. And, I mean, I definitely think the sky could be the limit for him with the drop rounds coming through. Kane Halliburton, if he has a few more mistakes, might need to start looking over his shoulder.
He might indeed, you never know, and that's the beautiful thing about these sorts of championships with these weird and wacky and wonderful formats, and to be honest, I think it's working very, very well. That is all we've got time for tonight, though, here on Chaz Draycott Media with the NEVO British F4 Series. It's been an absolute blast from Zandvoort. Kane Halliburton does it again, but Håkon Grebstad certainly shows him exactly what he's got. I've been Chaz Draycott, joined by the wonderful commentator's curse master, Ed May. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time at Silverstone. Have a good night.
Opportunistic, still rubbing panels as they go together. It's folded the wing mirror in on Dranu's car.
Misano is such a difficult circuit for these guys to get right. There's a lot of start-stop sections around the back. It's a very, very quick section as well.
It's a fantastic start from the 23. They're 4 wide there by the look of it.